and hope everybody is doing fantastic. I'm going to be answering whatever questions that you have today, and I'm going to be telling you a story about a case that I got approved recently. It's kind of a crazy story. The clients were extremely nervous, and they called me right before we went to the interview, and they said, "Oh my God, we were missing the birth certificate. We don't have the birth certificate. Oh my God, what do we do?" And you're supposed to bring your birth certificate to the interview. I made that clear to the clients, but they didn't have it. And so I had to tell them to take a deep breath. Take a deep breath, relax, and know that at some point, you're going to get what you get, and you're going to be there at the interview, and that's what it's going to be, And you can't get overly stressed out about that. At some point, you have to just relax and take a deep breath and know that you're going to do your very, very best at the interview. And it doesn't do you any good to freak out at the 11th hour and go crazy, because it's not going to help you. Do you know what I mean? I want everyone to take a deep breath and then post in the comments after you've done that. All together. It's going to be okay. You're going to get there. You have what you have at some point in your immigration case. It is what it is, and there's no point in getting upset about it. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to be taking questions from all of you, trying to answer whatever questions that you have. And if you wonder, like, well, why should you pay attention to what I say? Well, what the hell do I know? I'm just a guy on the internet. I have been practicing immigration law for more than 20 years, and I have handled every type of immigration case under the sun. I've seen every mistake that can be made, and you have an opportunity to ask me questions, and you can learn from my mistakes. If something doesn't work, it means that I've probably seen someone try and do that and seen how it doesn't work. You know what I mean? So with that in mind, I'm going to take questions from you. Am I married? Yes, I am married. My wife is Filipina, and we have 2 kids, ages 5, 6, 5, and 8. My son is turning 6 in a couple days, so it's pretty exciting. We had a birthday party for him this weekend. It was awesome. Yeah. So here's a question from Marwis Sakizadi, our friend on YouTube. I want to thank you for joining me. He's from Afghanistan. I have a lot of Afghan clients and friends. So it's very, very good to get your question. It says, can you give me some advice about F1, which is under AP? Marwaz, do you mean F1 as in someone seeking a student visa? Because there's another type of F1 visa. I'm just wondering about that. But if you are in administrative processing and you've been in administrative processing for 2 months, then you have a difficult choice to make, because you basically have to figure out what you can do to get out of AP. And if you're seeking a student visa, I think that the technique that we use to get delayed visas approved is that we go to court and we file a lawsuit against the consulate, and that works very well. But the lawsuit is based on an unreasonable delay, and you can't file a lawsuit 1 week after you've been to the interview, or 2 weeks, or 3 weeks. Even 2 months is tough. So I think you have to give it probably 4 months before you can consider a lawsuit. We have Crispy Air. She was here yesterday, and it's good to see you again. How long does it take to get a green card after USCS approval? She's from Austria and apply. Okay, well, first of all, congratulations on getting approved. I think that's awesome. Your green card usually comes in the mail in about 2 weeks. So that's great. It's great news for you. And you should celebrate and let me know what's going on. I'm going to take another question from our friends on Instagram here. Um, it says here, this is Detail King 109. What's the average time for approval for citizenship through marriage since it's an election year? I don't think an election year has anything to do with the processing times. I think they are what they are. When you ask an immigration lawyer, how long is something going to take right now? It's very difficult to answer that because it's hard to say. But I would say you're looking at roughly, let's say 8 months ish, something like that. The processing times vary based on where you live and how you apply. Some people say that it's faster when you apply online. Some people say it's faster when you apply on paper. It's hard to say. Uh, so let's take. I'm going live tomorrow, and it's Valentine's Day. I'm going to talk about marriage green cards, fiance visas, how to go from being in love to taking the next step and getting your partner to the U.S. So if you have questions about those, you can ask them now, or you can save them for tomorrow. All right. Let me see what I got. Where are your questions? Ask me anything, and I will try my best to answer. Here's one from someone. Says here, my VAWA is approved. I just sent my I-45. That's awesome. It's hard to get VAWA approved, and you should consider that a huge victory. And I'm glad you applied for a green card. How long is VAWA taking? I think it's probably going to take, we're looking at more than a year to get a VAWA case approved, probably a year and a half. Yasir, our friend on YouTube, said, you didn't answer my question. I'm sorry. I'll go back and try and answer it. He says here, good morning, sir. I have a question. How long does an F4 visa take? Well, an F4 visa, let me just take a look. F4 visa is sibling visa. So the first question you have to ask is, are you from the Philippines, Mexico, India, or China? If you are, you're going to have to wait longer. But the F4 visa, a sibling-based visa, means that your brother or sister is a U.S. citizen, and as a U.S. citizen, you can apply for your brother or sister. This is a great idea. The problem is it takes a really long time. I consider it the retirement visa because it's going to take so long that you could basically retire in the time that it would take you to get it processed. So I think it's going to take a very long time, 10 years, 15 years. I don't know. The mistake that people make when it comes to sibling petitions is they think to themselves, oh my God, this is going to take too long, so I'm not going to file it. And if you take that approach, then it means that you're never going to have the chance to get approved. A better approach would be to put the application for the K1, the F4 visa, put the visa petition in the mail and forget about it. Does that help? Let me know if you have questions about that. Yasir says, I'm from Afghanistan and spent many years with the U.S. military. Have you considered an SIV visa, Yasir? It's good to see more people from Afghanistan here on the channel. My connection with the Afghan community goes back. We specialize in helping people whose visas are delayed. And before the fall of Kabul and the U.S. consulate in Kabul, and before the Taliban took over, the U.S. embassy in Kabul was sitting on a lot of cases, and we filed a lot of cases to try to get these approved. Visa bulletin predictions is one question. I consider videos where lawyers are like, let me give you my predictions about the visa bulletin. I consider that clickbait, because only a fool would try to predict what happens with the U.S. With the visa bulletin. The visa bulletin is unpredictable, and you're not going to figure out how long things take. It's going to take a really long time, so it's hard to say. Here's Violet Sky with a question for us. Thank you. Hello. How can I retrieve my USCS receipt number? My father petitioned for me I-130 around February 11th, but he will not give me any information regarding my status. I'm sorry to hear that, Violet. Um, I think that's horrible. I don't think that you're going to be able to get any immigration benefit through a case that your father petitioned for you for without his help and cooperation. I know you wish that you could just find a way to get the receipt notice number and run with it. And there's ways you can do that. Maybe you could try and do a FOIA or something. But even if you were to get the case number, how are you going to get this sorted out? You know, that's what I'm concerned about. Let me know if you have questions. All right. I posted a video yesterday on TikTok and I asked people for questions. So after this, I'm going to be trying to answer everybody's questions and trying to do it in a way that is engaging and helpful. Adrianos, an amazing lawyer, joined us on Instagram. He is now back to his day off. Get back to work, sir. You never have a day off. He's a great content creator. Everybody should follow him on TikTok and Instagram. Love his videos. So Chris Pierre says sadly it's a standalone CR1 application. We still have to go through the National Visa Center embassy stuff. Do you know how long it will take? So Crispy Air, Luna Marketing, I remember you from yesterday. I think what you're asking me is your visa petition is approved and you're wondering when you're going to get your visa. So you have to keep in mind when it comes to visa petitions, there are basically 3 steps. First, you file a visa petition, the I-130 with USCIS. Getting this approved is going to take 6 months, 8 months, whatever it takes. Once that gets approved, it goes to the National Visa Center in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. They're going to ask for money for filing fees. They're going to ask for documents, birth certificates, marriage certificates, things like that. They're going to ask for you to fill out forms. So they need money, applications, forms, information, documents. It's going to take you 6 months at least to get through the National Visa Center process. And when you get through that, they're going to say that it's documentarily qualified. We had a question a couple of days ago. Someone said, I sent the National Visa Center all the requested documents and forms. I sent it to them a couple of days ago and I haven't heard anything back. Well, it doesn't work like that. They're going to let you know when they let you know, and it's going to take time. So you got to chill out and let them process it. But once you get through the National Visa Center process, then you go to the final step. The third and final step in consular processing is that you're going to have a visa interview at a U.S. consulate abroad, and getting that set up is a challenge as well. But once you do that, you prepare for the interview, you go to the interview, you can get approved. Now, Crispy Air Luna, if you're asking me how long it takes to go from I-130 approval to visa in hand, you're going to have to spend 6 months going through the National Visa Center and at least another 6 months to get the interview in most cases. So you got some time on your hands, unfortunately. Looking through for some more questions now. Here's a question. How can I take my adopted child to the U.S. as a citizen of the U.S.? Okay, so I don't handle adoption cases. You need to find an immigration lawyer who specializes in adoption cases. But I don't. When someone says I want to help, I want to do an immigration case, and the basis of the case is adoption, I'm not the guy for you. I know there are people who do this work. I am not one of them. There are many types of immigration cases that I don't do, and that's one of them. And that's why if you want help from me and my firm and my team, We offer free consultations, but you have to answer some questions, and the questions are designed to make sure that the meeting with us is a good use of your time and our time. Because if you say, I want to help with adoption case, then we can't we can't directly help you. And before we had this tool, people would book appointments with us, and when we couldn't help them, they would get upset at us. Liz Gonzalez says, how long is the I-45 process after VAWA approval? I think it's going to take some time. I think you're looking at a year and a half, maybe even longer. What's important is that you file for a travel document and a work permit along with your I-45 application. It's also important to file that before April 1st, because on April 1st, there's going to be significantly higher fees. So get that application in. Abdul says, hello, sir. Please help me out. Absolutely, Abdul. Tell me what you need help with, and I'll do my best to help you out. Smile Curex12 says, answer me, please. He's okay. I'm going to try to answer this question from Instagram. He says, let's say I apply for my marriage visa last year, September. So the question is, when will I get approved? Well, I would need to know what you mean by getting approved. Did you say you applied for your, what does it mean to apply for a marriage visa? Does it mean that you went to the interview and you had a visa interview, or does it mean that you have an approved visa petition? So I'd need a little more information about what exactly is going on with that. Let me know. Priscilla Jimenez on YouTube. Thank you, my friend, for joining us. Let me see what your question is. It says, my application was approved 4 months ago. Now I'm waiting for the second step, the NVC. How long do you think it will need to get the welcome letter and the interview? Okay, well, Priscilla, I don't know what kind of case you have. Well, why don't you tell me in the comments, what kind of immigration case do you have? Is it a fiance visa or a marriage visa, or what is it? Tell us a little more about that. Well, let me try to answer while we're waiting for her to answer. But if you are applying for a visa and your visa petition is approved, oh, we have an EB2 national interest waiver. Priscilla, you're a smarty pants. I love that. Thank you for helping make America great by bringing all your talents and your goodness here to America. Okay, your consular processing in Brazil. Okay, great. So you have an approved visa petition. You're going to get a letter in the mail. You're going to get an email from the the National Visa Center, and the email is going to say, fill out the DS-260 and pay this fee and so on. And once you get that, it's going to take you about 6 months to get through that process. I would say another 6 months. Once you get through the National Visa Center, it's going to take, well, like I said, it'll take about 6 months, and then it will take you another 6 months or so to get the interview scheduled. And so I think you're looking at a year. I hope that helps. May not be the answer that you wanted to hear, but it is true. Here's a question from YouTube. How long should we wait for a lawsuit, mandamus, administrative processing, 90 days, CR1? Ahmed has a question about when should you file for mandamus after a visa interview. Let me share my thoughts with you. So the basis of the lawsuit is that there's been an unreasonable delay. So the question that we ask ourselves and that you're asking us is, how long do you need to wait before it becomes something that you can file a lawsuit based on? The answer is a little bit unclear. It's a gray area, but I think you've got to give it 4 months. So I think if you haven't heard anything, if it's been 90 days, I would give it another month, another 30 days. And if you don't have your visa in 30 days, I think you should contact us and see what we can do. So if anyone needs help, I'm going to post my email I can't. I'm going to post my email on YouTube. Here we go. Joshua at jgoldlaw.com. Joshua at jgoldlaw.com. Shoot me an email. My friend Janet just joined. She's a lovely human being. I've known her for a few years, I think. Oh, look at Matt, Squash Hero. He's here. Good to see you, dude. Hope you're well. Tell me what questions are on your mind. I will answer any, well, I will try to answer any question that you have. And would love to hear what's on your mind. Here's a question. This is a good one. I have advanced parole with a marriage base and asylum pending at USCS. Can I go to Canada? Well, you can go to Canada if you have a visa to go to Canada, or you're able to go to Canada. You can go there if you have advanced parole. So I never give advice for someone to travel. And I think it's I never give that advice unless I've really thoroughly reviewed their case. And I don't think you should travel internationally just based on some video on TikTok where someone just gave you a snap answer. I think you really want to review that carefully. But to me, it sounds like you could probably do that. It sounds like you could potentially do that. But to really know for sure, I'd have to look things over carefully. Abdul Wadat says, what should I do? I'm in administrative processing for too long since the collapse. You should contact us. Let us know how we can help you. I put my email up there. I also have a website. You can take a look at it. Here it is. Joshua at jgoldlaw.com. This is the website, jgoldlaw.com. Let me know what else is on your mind. We have Big Pappy Badger, who is one of my favorite human beings. He joined us, and he's the creator of the Honey Badger video. I don't know if you've seen that old classic of YouTube. It's amazing. How fun to see you. How are you? I'm good. I'm good. I love jumping on. I'm trying to do more lives, trying to do lives every day. Here we have a question on Instagram. My father's case was refused by the U.S. Embassy in Kabul, but the refusal reason was never communicated. What to do? You should definitely contact us, because this is a sort of case where if you've been told that your visa was refused, then that means it's pending and that there could be a way to get that approved. Honey Badger, Chris, a comic genius, is with us on TikTok. I love that man. But back to your question on Instagram. Your father was refused in Kabul. They never gave you the answer. You're somebody who I can help, definitely. Here's a question on Instagram as well. My parents adopted a child from Pakistan, and we applied to USCS. It's been more than 3 years, and we haven't gotten a response. Please know if there's anything we should be aware of. Well, like I said earlier in this video, if you have an immigration case that's based on adoption, then I'm not the guy for you. I don't handle adoption-based immigration cases. There are lawyers who do work in this area, and I am not one of them. So there are things I do and there are things I don't do, and adoption-based immigration is just one of those things. It doesn't mean that I'm against adoption, or I don't like you, or I don't want to help. None of that is true. It's just like if you call up a Chinese restaurant and you order a pastrami sandwich, they're not going to be able to help you. And adoption is not the thing that I do. Sorry. Here's Jimmy F. He says, "Hi from Germany. How long should I wait for a consular interview appointment for EB3?" Um, well, I think you should it should probably take within 1 year of the approval of the I-130 to get your visa interview. You also have to ask yourself, um, whether or not your priority date is current. That's another thing. Here's a question from Bakar Mansouri. It says, "Hi, Joshua L. Goldstein." You can call me Josh, but thank you. It says, "I responded to a request for evidence. My case is IR1. Can I request expedite or should I request premium processing?" Well, there's probably no premium processing. So I think what you could do is you could request expedited processing. And USCIS website has a place where you can request expedited processing. Mix Fun. He says here, "I applied from London for a B12 B2 visitor visa on February 9th, 2024. And before my interview, they called me to P1 window and told me that here is the same name of your date of birth." I don't understand your question, Mix Fun. I'm going to see you. "Then after that, I was told to wait in the lobby. Then I went to stage 3 for the interview, and then I got 221G. Okay. I'm not understanding what the problem is. You said that the same name of you and date of birth and the same place of date of birth. I'm not sure what the issue is here. Let me know how I can help. Let me know what I can do to help you out. I am here for you to answer any and all questions that you might have. I'm going to here's a question from Big Pappy Badger. "What are other countries' immigration procedures like? Is it easier or harder to get citizenship?" Chris, are you thinking about making a run for the border? You're thinking about taking off? Here's the answer to this question. I don't know. People ask me all the time, "How do I get an Italian passport?" Because my grandmother was Italian. Or how do I get my Irish citizenship? Because etc. And getting immigration benefits in the US is hard enough. I have enough trouble figuring that out. I don't know how to get immigration benefits in other countries. There are lawyers like me in other countries that know how to do this. I don't know. So basically, I don't know. I know that being born in the United States gives you US citizenship, and that is not true in other countries. If you're born in Germany, I don't think you necessarily automatically by virtue of being born there, I don't know if you get citizenship. But again, I'm not the guy you want to talk to about all that good stuff. Great question, though. If I knew how to get citizenship in another country, I might be living elsewhere. Although my job is to help people immigrate to the U.S., I am a curious, adventurous person, and I think there's a lot to be gained by living in a different place. If you've lived in a different country than the one you were born and raised in, let me know in the comments below. Was that a good experience for you? Maybe you're an immigrant here in the U.S. or you've gone through that journey. I find it rewarding. I lived in Taiwan, China, Spain, England. Those are the countries that I have spent time in. And I found it fascinating. Here's somebody on TikTok. Malik, "I lost my case 10 years ago. My I-45, 601, 290B was denied. My wife and I got divorced. I'm sorry to hear that. I think it's time to come up with a new immigration strategy, of course. That one was 10 years ago." Here's a great question on Instagram. Yara Soul, "I am applying for naturalization. Arrived months before my 27th birthday and was illegal until 5 years ago. How do I answer page 44 on the N400? How can I answer this?" I'm not sure what that particular question is, which one you're referring to. Are you referring to selective service? Let me know in the comments so that I can try to answer that for you. Mixed fun. Another guy has the same name and the same date of birth and the same birthplace, so the officer was confused. Well, I don't know. Like, if you're from London and your name is, uh, I don't know, Jack Smith, and you were born on a certain date, there's probably a lot of other people with the same name and the same date of birth. That doesn't, like, why would that be a problem? I don't think that should be a problem. But if you're in 221G and it drags on for more than 4 or 5 months, then that's something we can help you with. Let me know what other questions you have. I'm so happy to get your questions and glad that you spend time with me here. It means a lot to me, and I hope that this content that I'm creating is helpful to you as well. So let me know. Okay. Let's see here. Please let me know.